The NFL season kicks off tonight in Philly when Jalen Hurts and the defending champions host the Micah Parsonless Cowboys. Stephen A., what do you expect tonight?
I think it'll be a very competitive game for the first half. I think the second half comes and there will be a collapse on the part of the Dallas Cowboys, mainly one Dak Prescott.
You know what? I'm going to pause you. That's too predictable. I already know that.
Well, you already asked. You asked.
Yeah, I got something better for you.
Please.
Who's going to be MVP?
Lamar Jackson. I believe Lamar Jackson.
Now we're talking.
I think with Lamar Jackson. Let me say this, because I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but I got to say what I'm going to say. I think Lamar Jackson is going to win league MVP. He's going to win the Super Bowl. I think Lamar Jackson is going to capture the Super Bowl championship this year.
He gets into a very small group of humans. Like, we're talking all-time great.
Yes.
All time.
That's what I believe.
Yes.
MVP?
I took Jordan Love. And a little bit like, yeah, I think Lamar and Josh and Joe and Patrick will be in there, but I took Jordan Love. I just think it's time for Jordan Love. I really do. I really believe that they got a ton of really good players. He's a phenomenal talent. I think the way the defense can play, like if I'm Matt LaFleur, I go a little bit more aggressive throwing the football. And I think Jordan has a massive season.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow, because I actually believe Cincinnati's going to find a way to win 10 games, and I think that's all he needs to win it. You look at last year, there wasn't a week I watched Joe Burrow after the first 2 weeks where I didn't think to myself, he's one of the best players I've ever seen play the position. Yeah. He played it at that high of a level. He executed in a way where if there was something that presented, he attacked it. And to me, that was the way Tom Brady played. And so when I think about Lamar, Stephen A., I think the only problem with him was when I look at Lamar, if he couldn't win it last year, I actually don't know what he can do to win it. When you look at what he was individually, how well that team played offensively, I think the same thing for Josh. I think it's already been that for Patrick, and Joe feels like next up.
The slight disagreement I have with what you just said is that I thought there were enough people that thought it was Josh Allen's time. Because of the kind of year he had, combined with the fact that Stephon Diggs had departed, along with the fact that carrying Buffalo, he had been knocking on the door, and at no time in the postseason did we look at him and say it was you that y'all didn't read. I thought they felt like it was his time. Now that he got it, you go back to look.
To recap, Lamar, Love, Burrow.
Yes.
I like it.
I wish I didn't fumble. Next time, we're going to do something better.
Winning an MVP doesn't change who I am. It doesn't change how I play the game of football.
When we come back, I feel like we're going to have vengeance on our mind. But we're going to have to see.
Jackson smashes a man. They're not going to get him. Are you kidding me? The scoring machine. Set the tempo. It's us. Let's go.
It feels like a heavyweight fight coming up Sunday night, right? Between Lamar and Josh. And how about this note from our former researcher, Doug Clawson? Lamar Jackson has gone 52 straight starts without losing a game by more than 7 points, including playoffs. That is the longest quarterback streak since 1950 at minimum. We say 1950 because that's when they first started tracking this stuff. So if there's one thing I can almost guarantee you, if the Bills win, it's going to be a close game. How can we describe what we think is at stake? Louis Riddick was suggesting here yesterday that there's more than just a game at stake here for the Ravens. We understand it could mean home field advantage and stuff, but the psychological piece of it, losing to them last year the excruciating way they did, waiting all year and then playing them again and losing again. Does it feel like there's more at stake in this game than just one night?
For me, it does not.
No.
It's obviously a massive game to the playoff stuff. We know this team is going to be in the playoffs. We know this team is more than likely going to be one of the top 4 seeds in the playoffs. This is a roster that is absolutely loaded. There is no organization, no team under more pressure to finally get it done than the Baltimore Ravens. Week 1 starts that. It's going to be a long season, but it's the best roster in the AFC. They got a head coach that won a Super Bowl. They got 5 first-round picks in their secondary. They got a quarterback at MVP. This could be one of the great, assembling of talents that we have. Like, at some point, this Ravens football team, this organization has to go get it done, and they have to be themselves when it matters the most. Week 1, again, it's a big deal, but it's not going to be the end of the world if they lose the football game. I have picked them to win it.
All right, fair enough. We will acknowledge, however, that the game should count for 1.5 games in the standings, because if they wind up playing each other again in the playoffs, then home field could easily be decided by this game played on the first weekend. Cindy, let's put up C8 if we can, because at ESPN Bet, the Ravens and Bills are the co-favorites to win the Super Bowl. You see Kansas City sitting down there, the defending champs, but the Ravens and Bills, at least one of these teams has been left out of the AFC Championship game since 2020. So I know you said earlier, Taylor, you still believe the road to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City, and that's fair. Until someone beats them, you got to prove it. But if I told you one of these two teams is finally going to climb that mountain, Baltimore or Buffalo, Josh or Lamar, which is it?
I'm going to have to go with the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And it might be because we were in Rochester and I saw Josh Allen, the way he was dicing everybody up around the field, had 2 incomplete passes the entire practice that I was able to watch. But it's also how casual he is, how confident he is, the way he leads and kind of has this stoic mentality while also having a good time that makes everybody else in that organization feel like their shoulders can go down a little bit. So, and also the GM being said that Will and I could be a part of the parade if they win. So that is also has a lot to do with me picking them over the Ravens.
How about it? How about it's almost impossible to separate between them because, Dan, while I agree with literally every word you just said about the Ravens, I feel like almost all of it applies equally to the Bills. No team in the NFL has ever won more games over a 4-year streak than the Bills have the last 4 years and not even reached the Super Bowl. So they've been historically good, but not able to take the last step. And the two of them are the same. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are both right now all-time good quarterbacks. And they're just a championship away from being all-time great quarterbacks. Quite literally, that's not an exaggeration. One of these guys puts a ring on, and we start talking about them with the great quarterbacks of all time. Which guy do you think is closer to it?
That's a great question. I agree with everything Danny said about the Ravens, the roster that they have. Shefty thinks this could be a better roster than they were last year. They were at the top, if not toward the top, in every category in football. I agree that the Bills are under the same type of expectation and urgency. I think the Bills defensively, they're not close to what the Ravens have been in the past. What they are now, I think the Ravens, overall, listening to both of you guys, I do think this is the Ravens' year, if any year, so I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Well, I noticed Taylor talking about you guys being invited to the parade. And it was interesting because this week Josh Allen on Hard Knocks talked about how the fact that he could envision the parade. Now, he didn't mention the fact that you guys were in it, but he mentioned how he could see the parade, he could imagine, he could feel the cold. And so, like, it's so close for Buffalo. They've been so close, but it also feels like both these teams, at least Baltimore's tasted that before. Buffalo never has. Can you imagine what it would be like if that parade were rolling?
The world would burn.
You guys on the floats, like that would be unbelievable.
Beam through a table.
Mustard and ketchup on it for shotgun beers.
I might even jump
Dan's
through a
there
table.
for some reason.
Multiple reasons.
Absolutely. Multiple reasons.
Dan might be the table that we lay out. We jump through here.
You don't need to be reminded. I don't even know what that means. You don't need to be reminded this is a team that made it to 4 straight Super Bowls a generation ago. Let's continue our streaking theme. The Bears have a streak they're looking to snap. They ended last year losing 5 straight games at home. If they lose Monday night against Minnesota, it would match the second longest home losing streak in franchise history. That is a history that dates back well over 100 years. And so, look, Dan, it feels like a restart for Caleb Williams, right? It is J.J. McCarthy's literal first game. It kind of feels, at least like the first game of the rest of his life for Caleb Williams. And against Brian Flores' defense, I don't know that you could ask for a harder opening game.
Huge challenge.